Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kayla and I make videos about all things BPD. And today we're going to be talking about a little thing called age regression. Now, for those of you who don't know what that is age regression is when someone reverts back to an earlier state of mind, and this revert can be anything ranging from a few years younger than their physical age to even a lot younger, so going all the way back to early childhood or even infancy. There's a lot of different theories and speculations that exist when it comes to age regression, and my main boy, Sigmund Freud, believed that this was an unconscious defense mechanism that people use to protect their ego from past trauma, stress, or anger that they experienced. On the other hand, Carl Jung, my second main boy, believed that this was actually a positive experience that allowed people to open themselves up, to feel younger, to be more open to new experiences and ideas. So there's different theories, and obviously those are just two of the main ones, but all of the theories, they have two things in common. So the first characteristic is that someone needs to revert to a younger state of mind, and then the second characteristic is that it is never sexual in any way. Now, some people are freaks in the sheet and like to portray themselves as younger than they are, and by all means, do you boo, but just know that this is not age regression. Age regression can be more common in certain mental health conditions such as schizophrenia, dissociative identity disorder, PTSD, and obviously BPD. And for those who have personality disorders, age regression often occurs when they come face to face with distressing memories or triggers. And so age regression can be something that happens very spontaneously. I didn't say that right, but you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to say is that those with BPD, when they are in a mode of crisis, can often revert back to a childlike state in order to protect themselves from this trauma that they may have experienced in the past. And age regression can look like sucking your thumb, sleeping with a blankie, acting and reacting very immaturely, and the classic BPD having temper tantrums. So we see this with a lot of people, that they get these like explosive moods and angers, and they can cry and kick things and literally act like a kid. As you may know, our brain is super complicated and stores memories in a variety of capacities. And often what happens with memories is that even though they're past, they tend to feel as though they're happening in the present. And Bonnie Badenoch, hopefully I'm saying that right, calls this concept the ever-present past. Not only do we have the capacity to remember things visually and we remember auditory memories, but we also remember things viscerally. So what I mean by this is that memories and emotions can be stored viscerally, where we feel it in our bodies and our intuition, and they get stored in these little pockets of our brains, if figuratively, if not literally. But so then when this happens is that when we get triggered, we feel those memories in our bodies as if they were happening right now. Each one of our trigger points in our body tells us that something is happening right now and that we better prepare for it. And when this happens, the part of our brain that's responsible for the fight, flight, freeze response takes action, and the executive functioning part of our brain goes into hiatus. So we get overrun by this very now emotive response to things, and this is a main trigger for age regression. So now the question becomes, how do you even notice if you're emotionally age regressing, and more importantly, what can you do about it? So the number one thing I would recommend is obviously therapy. Therapists can help you work through those things and identify your triggers and identify when this mechanism is happening. I obviously recognize though that therapy is not accessible to everyone, so other things you can do is just checking in with your breathing. When you notice that you're getting flustered, your breathing will change to a deep breathing to a rapid breathing, which makes it very difficult to calm down when all this is happening. So just checking in with your breathing, making sure that you're taking a deep breath from your belly all the way to the top. You can do box breathing, so inhaling for 4, holding at the top, exhaling for 4, and you move in this square shape breathing pattern. Something else that you can do is simply asking yourself how you're feeling in the moment, naming your emotion, and usually naming the emotion, that alone will help to calm you down and allow you to think from a more neutral standpoint. Something else that you can do, obviously this is very scenario dependent because if you're surrounded with people, you're not necessarily going to do this, but you can take the time to tune in with this inner child that you have within you. So asking it how old you're feeling and spending some time with this part of yourself and loving it, giving it compassion and understanding, and just acknowledging that this is a hidden or sad and traumatized part of yourself that needs a bit more compassion. So being there for yourself and just allowing it the space that it needs to exist, while also gently telling it that you're now going to be taking over and that it's okay and that it's safe, can be a really good coping mechanism for age regression. The last strategy would be really just to get away from the situation. So if you're in a situation that is very distressing and triggering, remove yourself entirely from it. You can seek support in others, so calling your therapist, calling friends or family, and having a space where you can talk to people to allow you to work through all of these complex emotions and thoughts. There's an awesome book on this topic called Growing Yourself Up by John Lee, which I'll just link in the show notes down below if you are interested in learning about more coping mechanisms to deal with age regression. There's unfortunately not a lot of research on this topic, so please, if you have any specific questions, don't be shy to leave them in the comments down below. And I just want to remind everyone to try as much as you can to be easy on yourself and to watch over your mental health, especially during these weird times that we're going through with the pandemic, and that you're not alone in experiencing age regression. So practicing self-acceptance and self-compassion can be really great tools to help you navigate the entirety of the healing process. With that said, if you want to be a part of the On the Line community, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the bell notification up top to get notified when I do post new videos every Monday about all things BPD. And subscribing to my channel is really the best way to ensure that the most people can get all this great information so that we can hopefully help to slowly break down the stigma around BPD. With that said, I will see you back here next week for another episode of On the Line.